gather here today to celebrate their union and to honor their commitment to not just gazing at one another, but to looking outward together in the same direction. Today, Chris and Allie proclaim their love to the world, and we rejoice with them and for them. In marriage, we give ourselves freely and generously to the hand of the one we love, and in doing so, each of us receives the love and trust of the other as our most precious gift. But even as that gift is shared by two people who are in love, it also touches the friends and family members who, in various ways, support and contribute to the relationship. All of you are Chris and Allie's community, and each of you has played some part in bringing them to this moment. This is why gathering as a community is such an important part of the wedding ceremony, because Chris and Allie are now taking form as a married couple, and in this form, they become part of their community in a new way. This wedding is also a celebration of family. It is the blending of two families, the Renshaws and the Garcia family, separate up until this moment, but united from this day forward, blending their different traditions, strengthening the family tree. Parents plant so their children may harvest. Brothers cry when their children hurt, and welcome Peyton Bird to give their sons and daughters the gift of life. Chris and Allie wish to honor this blending of the families by presenting a rose to their mothers to thank their parents for the many selfless sacrifices they have made and for their unconditional love so freely given to their children. Before we continue, I'd also like to take a moment to honor the ones no longer with us. Benny Garcia, Allie's grandfather, and Carol Jean Hoffman, Chris's grandmother, who are not here today in body, but are fondly remembered. We would also like to honor their spouses, Josephina and Arthur, who were unable to attend, but are very proud of their grandchildren. Dr. and Mrs. Longley and Mr. and Mrs. Renshaw are in attendance, and the presence honors and humbles Chris and Allie. Chris and Allie, we are here to remember and rejoice with you, and we count with one another that it is love that guides us on our path, and to celebrate as we begin this journey together. Others would ask at this time, who gives a bride in marriage? But as a woman is not proper to be bought or sold, given and taken, I ask simply if she comes of her own free will and if she has her family blessing. Allie, do you come of your own free will and accord? It is in the spirit that you have come here today to exchange these vows.
Alicia Ann, I ask you to be my wife, my partner in life, and my one true love. I will cherish our union and love you more each day than I did the day before. I promise to care and protect you, to comfort and encourage you, and to support you in your goals. I vow to trust you, honor you, and respect you, to act with you and cry with you, loving you faithfully and unconditionally to times of triumph and for times of strife. Regardless of what obstacles we may face together, I give you my hand, my heart, and my love, from this day forward for as long as you wish to live. Like the earth that is strong and nurturing, my love will be your shelter. Like the wind that plunges and uplifts, so will I lift when things are still. Like the fire that smolders and burns, so will my passion forever. Like the water that soothes and heals, so shall I tend and soothe your needs. You are every beat of my heart, the air in my lungs, and the blood in my veins. You are my wife now and forevermore.
Beloved, already we have shared and learned so much about life and ourselves, and how well fit we are for each other. I adore everything our love has been to come. Thank you. I eagerly anticipate all that is waiting for us to discover together. to walk down life's road beside you, my best friend, my lover, my hopeful, to face all obstacles and triumphs, to achieve our dreams and goals, and someday be mentioned peace. Your strength, understanding, and love have given me the courage to love myself despite self-doubts. Thank you for seeing that which I had burned in myself to be. Your happiness and smile burn my life. Like the earth that is strong and nurturing, my love will be your shelter. Like the wind that cleanses our cliffs, so I will lift and cleanse your skin. Like the fire that smolders and burns, so will my passion for you. Like the water that soothes and heals, so shall I tend and soothe your needs. You are the baby in my heart, the air in my lungs, and the blood in my veins. You are my life, and I forever will.
Now we're going to do something called hand casting. For those of you not familiar, this is a very old tradition. Know now that since your lives have crossed, you have formed ties between each other. The promises you make today, the ties that are bound here, will cross the years and greatly strengthen your union. With full awareness, know that you declare your intent to be handcast before your friends and family. Do you still seek to enter the ceremony? I bid you look into one another's eyes and hand these cords to your best friend. Alan, will you honor him?
I will.
Chris, will you honor her? Chris and Alan, will you seek never to give cause to break that honor? Holding hands before this over you, before binding to the promise. And so this binding is made. Alan, will you share his dreams? Chris, will you share her dreams?
I will.
Chris and Alan, will you dream together to create new realities in hopes? And so this binding is made. Allie, will you share his laughter? Chris, will you share her laughter? Will both of you look for the brightness and light and positive in each other at all times? And so this binding is made. Allie, will you ever burden him?
Probably.
Is that your intent?
No, definitely not.
Chris, will you ever burden her? Is that your intent? Both of you guys, will you share the burdens of each so that your spirits may grow in this union? And so this binding is made. Allie, will you ever cause him pain?
Unfortunately.
Is that your intent?
That's true.
Chris, will you ever cause her pain? Is that your intent? Will both of you share each other's pain and seek to ease it? And so this binding is made. Allie, will you ever cause him anger? Is that your intent? Chris, will you ever cause her anger? Is that your intent? Will you together take the heat of anger and use it to temper the strength of this union? And so this binding is made. The knots of this binding not formed by these cords, but rather by your vows. For always you hold in your own hands the making or breaking of your union. These together. You guys have your rings. For thousands of years, lovers have exchanged rings as a token of their vows. These simple metal bands are not of great value in themselves, but are made precious by your wearing them. Your rings say that even in your uniqueness, you have chosen to be bound together. Let these rings also be a sign that love has substance, as well as a soul, the present, as well as the past, and that despite its occasional sorrows, love is the circle of happiness, wonder, and delight. Chris, take Ellie's ring and put it on your finger, and repeat after me. Just as this circle is without end, my love for you is eternal. Just as it is made of indestructible substance, my commitment to you will never fail. With this ring, I take you to be my trusted confidant and partner in life. Ellen, please take your ring and put it on Chris's finger. Repeat these words. Just as the circle is without end, my love for you is eternal. Just as it is made of indestructible substance, my commitment to you will never fail. With this ring, I take you to be my trusted confidant and partner in life. Chris and Allie, although I am officiating here today, it is not totally in my power to sanctify, legitimize, or bless your relationship in any way, because the two of you have already done that in your hearts. So, by joining hands right now and looking into each other's eyes, let it be known that you are joined, body and soul, in this lifetime, and that this bond is sacred and eternal. And now that you have stood before me and exchanged these rings and your vows, and have agreed to be married according to the laws of the state of Arizona, I now pronounce you husband and wife and make you your bride. May I present for the first time Mr. and Mrs. Renshaw.